Alrighty, political ideologies. If you go ahead and click the link directly below in the comment section titled Political Ideologies, it's going to show you a brief video that really kind of explains the difference between the left, the liberal side of the political spectrum, and the right, the conservative side of the political spectrum. So go ahead and pause the video right now, click that link down below, and you get a better understanding of the different political ideologies. All right, next thing we need to talk about are the different political philosophies. Okay, so political philosophies and political ideology really are the same thing. Okay, your ideology on politics is your philosophy on politics. It's how you think politics should be done, how you think government should be run. The first one we're going to talk about is conservative. Okay, the definition of a conservative is someone who is traditional. They are weary of change or innovation. They kind of just want to keep things the way things have always been. An example of this would be Donald Trump over in the United States. He's a very traditional in some sense, okay, when it comes to a lot of his positions. We're going to do it this way because we've always done it this way. We're not going to change anything. We want to keep the United States as the United States was. We're not going to innovate in different ways that liberals might want to do. We're going to keep it the way that it always was. This is even more evident in his campaign slogan of Make America Great Again, going back to what it was before, weary of that change and innovation. That is how you would describe a conservative. Okay, a moderate is someone who's got some liberal tendencies, which we'll talk about a liberal in just a second, and then someone who's got some conservative tendencies as well. So on some issues, they're very, very liberal. Some issues, they're very, very conservative. A good example of a moderate political leader today would be Pope Francis, because technically he is a political leader. He leads the Vatican, which is the world's smallest country. So Pope Francis has some ideas that are very, very conservative. For example, his teaching or his position on abortion, his position on just a number of different issues. You can look into some of those if you're interested in that. Those are very conservative tendencies that you would not see a liberal oftentimes portraying. But he's also got some very liberal tendencies, particularly when it comes to talking about refugees, and some other different things going on right in there. So he's a moderate. He's got some ideas that are conservative and some ideas that are liberal. So it's a good example of a moderate. And finally, we're going to talk about a liberal. A liberal definition is someone who is willing to accept different behaviors or opinions than their own, and they're open to new ideas. So they're willing to look at different sides of the spectrum, try to find a new way of doing things. A conservative is going to basically say, we've always done it this way, it hasn't broken yet, we should just keep doing it this way. A liberal might say, just because we've always done it this way doesn't mean we should keep doing it this way. Maybe there's a better and more efficient way of doing it. An example, this would be Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, has a number of different liberal positions that he's taken when it comes to like gay marriage, for example, legalization of marijuana. A number of different issues, though, that he tends to be a liberal on. Political philosophy is continuing case, so we've got left versus right, and we're going to have kind of the top and then the bottom of the spectrum. The top part of there is going to be called authoritarian. Authoritarian is someone who favors enforcing strict obedience to authority at the expense of personal freedom. So you're going to follow the laws because the laws were made. I am the leader of your country, therefore you need to respect me. You need to do exactly what I say. An example of this is going to be Vladimir Putin over in Russia. You will often see him controlling the state media, controlling what goes out, forcing kind of this idea that I am Putin, I am in charge, you need to listen to what I am doing. Authoritarian rule tends to be very effective because people oftentimes don't resist very well, and they tend to get a lot of stuff accomplished, which you can argue is good or bad. We already kind of talked about that in our systems of government, but an authoritarian is someone who wants strict obedience to authority, oftentimes at the expense of personal freedom. So the state comes before the individual in this one, all for the country versus all for yourself. Vladimir Putin from Russia is a good example. Finally, we're going to talk about a libertarian. A libertarian is someone who advocates for civil liberties. An example of a libertarian is someone who basically says, you can do whatever you want, just don't hurt me. So you might personally be opposed to someone drinking alcohol, for example, but you're not going to make it illegal because you feel that they have the right to do whatever they want as long as it doesn't hurt me. Basically, you can have whatever right you want as long as your rights don't infringe upon the right of another. An example of this one, Kay, is going to be Ron Paul. It's kind of hard to find a major libertarian political figure today. Ron Paul was a senator from the United States, very libertarian. Basically, just do whatever you want, just don't take away my rights and don't harm me. We're all going to be okay. Right now, if you want to pause the video, click the link down below. It's going to give you an example of libertarianism according to Ron Swanson from the NBC comedy special, Parks and Recreation, Parks and Rec, great show. watch it, give it a go. But he's going to explain this like about a 3-minute video. You'll understand libertarianism a lot better, and it's quite humorous. So go ahead and pause the video and go from there. Okay, next thing I'm going to show right here is an example. If you want to pause the video and look under example 1, this is going to be an example. I'm going to watch this and determine whether or not this is a conservative talking or this is a liberal talking. So go ahead and pause the video and tell me what you think and then be able to explain why. Good. That previous video was an example of a conservative talking, okay, about going back to the past, different ideologies okay, and ideals that conservatives would often embrace. Go ahead and pause the video right now under example 2. Watch this brief little video and be able to tell me whether or not this from Emmanuel Macron is a conservative speaking or a liberal speaking and why. Good. This one right here, again, is an example of a liberal speaking. He's talking about innovation, new ways of doing things, bringing different people into his country to try to better things and have a new way of doing things. Emmanuel Macron is a liberal. That's why you're going to be seeing this kind of stuff going here. If you have any questions, please comment down below or get a hold of me. Have a wonderful rest of your day.